Editing a feature film is a straightforward but laborious process, and it's also an extremely old-fashioned one. If you'd waltzed into a cutting room in about 1910, you'd have found the principles of film editing essentially the same as they are today. Basically, in order to tell any story, you have to splice different shots together. In other words, cutting and sticking. But film editing is now finally moving into the electronic age. Stanley Kubrick cut Full Metal Jacket by transferring his film rushes to videotape and editing on tape before touching any film. Now, the Oscar-winning team behind The Last Emperor, director Bernardo Bertolucci and editor Gabriella Cristiani, have been using a new system of editing on laserdisc for their latest film, The Sheltering Sky. It's the first time this technology, imaginatively named CMX6000, has been used on a major feature film. The Sheltering Sky is based on Paul Bowles' novel and tells the story of an American couple in Morocco in the late 40s. It stars John Malkovich and Deborah Winger. Moving Pictures was given special access to the Sheltering Sky cutting rooms to find out how impressed the team were with their new toy and how it compares with working on celluloid.
In the 60s, I thought the editing was the moment of law and order, like an operation of police on the body of the movie. I thought that the movie had such a great gestural quality before the editing. And then, at the moment of the editing, all the peaks of the style were like leveled and cut. Then in the early 70s, I met Kim Arcaldi, who made me discover that editing could be a fantastic moment, a creative moment. And in the 80s, with Gabriella Cristiani, I finally find out that the cutting room is like a mine.
10,000 years to His Majesty the Emperor. 10,000 years!
You go every day to work in the mine, and if you know how to look at the footage, you will find minerals, precious things that you didn't know were hidden there.
When you're lucky that you can have an assistant, then you have Elvio Sordoni. That is my assistant since 20 years. We've been working together all this time. And he's here, usually helping me, and Bernardo here. So I'm in the middle of two energy, one against me, one the others. Anyway, and what we usually do, we run the film. For example, this is a wide shot of the desert with a caravan going on. You cannot see it very well because it's a little screen. What we want is maybe a piece of this little one. I mean, this would be maybe 100 feet of this shot. But maybe we need 10 feet. So what we do is we choose exactly which is for us the best. It depends at which point we are of the sequence. So I'm going to mark. And from now on is going to be the good one. So I have to cut down what is before because we don't need that anymore. let's say this. So I go further quickly, looking for the next shot. Exactly. This is closer. So even here, we go on and choose which is the best. It's an action. I mean, it makes a difference if you get to one point or another. So. And so in this way means that the trip goes, I mean, the journey goes on and on and on. Doing that all day long, day after day, for months, is really tiring physically. Plus, I want change. I want some change. I want new way to edit. I like progress in toys, new gadget. And I think I find a new one, which is the CMX 6000. It's a laserdisc system for editing, and it's very, very easy for editors that are used to work in this way in cinema. So this is the new toy, the new gadget, and this is Michael Rubin, at the moment my assistant, but he's also been my teacher.
This behind me is 150,000 feet of rushes. This is all the material that we'll be using to cut the film. You have film that was shot on location, or wherever. You have a laser disc, which all the rushes have been copied to. Each disc holds 30 minutes of material. When I come in the morning, Gabriella will request that we edit a certain scene. In this case, I'm using disc 39, 40, 41, and 44. And I bring them from that room into this room where I have my modules, my laserdisc players. I will take the discs, I will pop them in the laserdisc players, and I know this is very complicated, and I'll shut the doors. That's what I do. This is the CMX 6000. It's really just a box. This box is the 6000 part. And what you edit with are 2 monitors, and this, which is the edit controller. And there's really nothing else needed for editing. What you've got on the right-hand side is your dailies monitor, which is a list of every take in the production. By moving your hand on this little pad here, it's called a touch pad, you can select a shot, for example, camel feet, and you get the dailies up there. Okay? So that's the dailies side. On this side is the master. It's the cut. We'll be slowly building the dailies, taking pieces out and putting them into the master. The way we do that is a single button called splice. And splice does one thing. It takes the image on the right-hand monitor and the image on the left-hand monitor, and it puts a piece of tape between them. So you get this frame, you get that frame, and it moves everything over into the master. And splice by splice, you go through and you can build your film. Because the thing that you're editing is never recorded, it's not on tape, it's not anywhere other than in the computer's memory, you're always able to go back anywhere and make a change.
My frustration in the conventional system was that I had the idea, but then all that manual work took me time, and sometimes I lost concentration, I lost the speed of my idea. On that system, you have to think a lot before you touch anything, because if you make a mistake, you can be lost forever. Here is the difference. It is this. You select your take. It's there. And you do the same things, pushing a button around this thing, and you find the spot. I mean, here, I want here. Okay, splice. I run whatever I want, 2 feet, 3 feet. Ah, that's fantastic, perfect. Here it is. I'm going to look for another one. Maybe it's this. Yeah, I like this one. Of course, I know what is it. And I'm going to the point where I want to go. I select and splice. Here it is. Then I discover, I don't really like it. It's not a good idea. Maybe I should put something back. I mean, before, maybe a close-up of camel's feet. I change my mind. I go back here, select the feet. Here they are. I'm going to look what I want here and splice. Here it is. Again, it's not really a good idea. Cancel. Let's go back. I prefer the other one, and I keep the other one. You know, I made it 2-3 times, three chance that I want to do. How long? 10 seconds? I would never do that. I mean, it would take maybe, let's say, 5 minutes. I mean, I think there's lots of difference between one and the other. This was one of the reasons that I like. And maybe it's the only one that I like. The style, nobody can change my style. It's like this machine could change my brain. That is impossible. I made this machine work as I want.
It was fantastic because it would have taken something like 3 months to do what we have done in, I think, 28, 29 days, which is to put together an immense amount of material. In that sense, is really incredibly practical, and it saves a lot of time. The other phase is that for me, who am maybe a dinosaur of cinema, the idea of entering in a room which is very aseptic, where you just have a computer and 2 monitors, without the smell of the film, without the dirt. At the beginning, I really missed this feeling around me. The other problem is that instead of seeing the film on the screen, like you see it on a cutting machine, like a little projection, a miniature projection, you see the film in a bigger screen, but on a TV screen. So you have suddenly the feeling of what the movie will be after his career on the screen will be finished. You have already, before the movie exists, at the moment of just putting it together, the feeling of the electronic destiny of the film. I don't know if I like that.
The Sheltering Sky is the closing film at the London Film Festival at the end of November and then opens in London.